The figure of Nelson Mandela and 15 quotes of Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was a man who carried varied and numerous titles throughout his life. He was, among other things, a revolutionary, nonviolence anti-apartheid activist, philanthropist, human rights activist, the first black president of South Africa and a Nobel Peace Prize winner. He even went through 27 years in prison for his efforts to bring harmony and equality to South Africa. One of his great legacies was his contributions to education. Nelson Mandela quotes about education. Mandela recognized education as a great vehicle to bring equality of opportunity to the world. Here are 9 Nelson Mandela quotes about education. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. The power of education extends beyond the development of skills we need for economic success. It can contribute to nation building and reconciliation. A good head and good heart are always a formidable combination. But when you add to that a literate tongue or pen, then you have something very special. Young people must take it upon themselves to ensure that they receive the highest education possible so that they can represent us well in future as future leaders. Without language, one cannot talk to people and understand them. One cannot share their hopes and aspirations, grasp their history, appreciate their poetry, or savor their songs. No country can really develop unless its citizens are educated. Education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become the head of the mine, that a child of farm workers can become the president of a great nation. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. It is not beyond our power to create a world in which all children have access to a good education. Those who do not believe this have small imaginations. The man's inspiring life story has touched even more people's lives than his quotes about education. The many funds and foundations he established during his lifetime continue to help and advocate for the causes he cared about. Such causes include the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, the Nelson Mandela Foundation and the Mandela Rhodes Foundation. Institute for Education and Rural Development. As for the education sector, in particular, the Nelson Mandela Institute for Education and Rural Development provides education for rural children in South Africa that encounter educational barriers such as collapsing classrooms, leaking roofs, shortages of desks and shortages of teachers. The institute creates tools and methods to develop teacher training systems, works with the community, refurbishes classrooms and helps students develop their language skills as well as their confidence. The gift of education. The gift of education is indeed something to be celebrated. To work towards Mandela's honorable vision of a free and equal society, the world will require the knowledge, resources and insight that education brings. The Nelson Mandela quotes about education featured above express why education is so important. Education is an investment essential to empowering individuals to reach their full potential and to make their own positive impact on the world. The following 15 Nelson Mandela quotes. Nelson Mandela (1918–2013) was a South African black nationalist who spent 27 years in prison for fighting against the country's discriminatory apartheid system of racial segregation. His negotiations in the early 1990s with South African President F.W. de Klerk helped bring an end to apartheid and ushered in a peaceful transition to majority rule. Mandela served as president 1994–99 of the country's first multi-ethnic government. Here are some of his best quotes. Real leaders must be ready to sacrifice all for the freedom of their people. A fundamental concern for others in our individual and community lives would go a long way in making the world the better place we so passionately dreamt of. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. Everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. I like friends who have independent minds because they tend to make you see problems from all angles. It always seems impossible until it's done. Many people in this country have paid the price before me and many will pay the price after me. Do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. Money won't create success, the freedom to make it will. It is in the character of growth that we should learn from both pleasant and unpleasant experiences. It is not our diversity which divides us, it is not our ethnicity, or religion or culture that divides us. Since we have achieved our freedom, there can only be one division amongst us, between those who cherish democracy and those who do not. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. A critical, independent and investigative press is the lifeblood of any democracy. The press must be free from state interference. It must have the economic strength to stand up to the blandishments of government officials. It must have sufficient independence from vested interests to be bold and inquiring without fear or favor. It must enjoy the protection of the Constitution, so that it can protect our rights as citizens.